and saying that the way he, the laws that he enacted, everything that he did was with the fear and considering Allah and the Prophet as the first priority, like to make them happy. Now in this post-colonial era, we see that Muslims are very diplomatic, defensive, they're very slave-minded still. And the things they do or we act the way we act is always to please other people. So in this era that we live in right now, what is the priority or the best way to, in our daily lives when we're outside, to deal with people? Like, is that we have to be really hard or soft? What's the right?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Before we talk about how we should be outside, let's talk about how we should be inside. Before we should talk about how we should deal with the people, let's talk about how our relationship with Allah is first. Then the one who has that authority can adjust because the foundation is strong, because the inside is strong. It is not from weakness. You understand? Yes, it is true. I don't like the word post-colonial, post-Khilafat. The post-Khilafat world, Islam is not ruling. Prophet ﷺ says, if there is no Khalifa for 3 days, there is no Islam. Meaning Islam is not ruling. The laws of Islam is not ruling. The laws of Allah is not ruling. So now you're going to have a weird kind of law that you're taking here and there to say this is Islam. Weird kind of law from your culture and this to say it is Islam, or you're going to say we don't need it completely. We're just going to take the law of the West, or what we understand it to be. And so yes, during the time of Hazrat Umar, during the time of Hazrat Osman, during the time of Hazrat Ali, it continued. Yes, even during the time of the Abbasis and the Umayyas, and the Abbasis and the Ottomans, even in their weakest times. Number one, we did not have one single Khalifa who is opposing to the laws of Allah. To say, for example, zina, it is allowed. Never. Doesn't matter. Now, people are strong or weak on that. But do they say zina, drinking, interest, all these things that we see every day that people say if you don't commit these things by the age of 15 years old, you are a loser? Do we have that for over 1,000 years? We didn't have that. You understand? That means Islam is still ruling, and the awliya Allah still given the power. They have been given the real power to be controlling the Khalifas as well. Because the Khalifas, they had sheikhs, and the Khalifas would go and stand down like this in front of the friends of Allah, because they understand who is the Sultan here and who is the Sultan in the divine presence. So, justice was able to be meted out. Justice was able to be served in this world. And just because that khutbah is also showing just one extreme example of Hazrat Umar's justice, it doesn't mean justice now it is violent. It doesn't mean that justice now it is always harsh all the time. No. There's always been whatever that is a justice that is coming with the wisdom and coming with the mercy. Because justice without the mercy, it is tyranny. You understand? And we are not asking for the justice of Allah on us, we're asking for Allah's mercy on us. So, now and again they would show certain things when the society is going out of the way to show. But Allah is also showing, and 1400 years of canon law, Islamic canon law, especially during the time of the Ottomans, because that's the time when they started to have heavy contact with the West. Before that, it was very secluded. except for, say, Andalusia or the Iberian Peninsula, a little bit here and there, Sicily, and then after that they finished. And those are pockets of Arabic civilizations also. It's not a new civilization, really. So, during the time of the Ottomans now, there's a lot of laws now that it didn't change. The laws now, it moves together with the time because Islam is a living religion now. Just to, for example, they don't make any distinction. This is secular and this is religious because everything belongs to Allah. This is deed, this is a lifestyle. If there is a technology that came out at that time, they have to not only research to see whether the technology is good or not physically to the people, the sheikhs and the Sheikhul Islam have to write fatwas about that. Just for the street lamps, they have to write fatwas. You understand? So that now everything is connected, is not separated. Because Islam is still ruling. It is still important. People are looking not to themselves and their happiness. They're looking to please Allah. And Allah is a creator of happiness. When you're pleasing Allah, then Allah will create happiness for you. No matter what kind of situation that you are, He will create happiness for you. So, in these days, there is no Khalifa. In these days, we have gone through a very terrible time that our religion, our identity, our language, our culture, everything is taken away. Others is forced on us. And now we cannot balance because the Khilafat is veiled. The awliya Allah, they are veiled. The believers, they say, pull back. Pull back. So what happens then? We see people who are saying they're speaking for Islam. They're not the ones who are given that spiritual authority to speak. They're given worldly authority, they're given ideological authority, they're given political authority to speak, but they don't speak on behalf of Allah and His Prophet. They may speak on behalf of ideology, their presidents, their regimes, their people, their interests, their schools, but they're not speaking on behalf of Allah and His Prophet. Wasalam. That office has already been closed, Shaykhul Islam. In terms of Shariat, that office of spirituality has also been veiled. Say, don't interfere. So now there's too much chaos going on. Everybody saying they're speaking. So people are going to choose whichever fits to their ego. You understand? So they cannot now learn how to adjust. They cannot now learn what is the thing, how to navigate in this world. So you have one extreme saying, no, we have to cut ourselves off from every kind of un-Islamic influence. And they become completely strict, become completely oppressive, becomes completely tyrannical. And there are whole countries and regimes that are like that. It didn't last too. And we have the complete end, saying we don't need all of this. We have to just be human. As if being Muslim is not being human. Being spiritual is not being human. We have to be more human, meaning we have to accept everything. The way that they taught us what it's to be accepted. At least the West went through hundreds of years they went through to change from a religious society to become something that is secular. But the Muslims went through overnight. What happens then? You become psychotic. You're not correct up there. So now this kind of chaos is happening everywhere. Every country it is happening. The believers are looking and they say, we cannot change anything because this is the sign of the last days. We're waiting for Hazrati Mahdi alayhi salam to come to fix this. Pull ourselves back. You think you're going to fix one problem, 10 problems will come tomorrow. Now, we're living in a time now where nobody is learning and studying Islam. You understand? They're not. You may learn Quran, you may learn Hadith, you may learn Tajweed, you may learn Aqidah, you may learn this and that, but they're not learning Islam. They're not learning Islamic civilization. Because the people who hold this knowledge of Islam, meaning how Islam has been moving from the time of the Sahabis to the Tabi'in, Tabi'in, hundreds of years, thousand years, either they've all finished, or they've killed them, or they pulled back. These are in the hands of the awliya Allah. Why is that necessary to learn all that over 1,000 years of Islamic history? So that you know where you are, and you know how to start living in this world with all that knowledge properly, and what to expect. You understand? What to expect also. Because when you're not learning through someone who is able to break it down for you, to explain, if you're not learning from the sohbat, you're just learning from the book, now you have book knowledge. Book knowledge is very dangerous. Then you try to make yourself to be like a book. It is very unnatural. Now someone is going to read that hadith or that riwayat and thinking that I must be like that. It is not like that too. This is why, even when you're reading, why we have teachers in the school? Why not the ministry just say read books, don't have teachers? You still need teachers, correct? With all this technology and everything, we still need teachers. Because the teacher is going to say, you have to read this part carefully. This one is different. This one you have to connect like this. You're connecting it wrong. You're reading it wrong. The teacher is there to guide you. So we have all these books in our palms of our hands, but we have no teacher. So no one to guide, we get lost. We get confused. How are we going to live now in this world? Understanding, for example, the justice of Hazrat Umar. Like I said before, don't look outside first, look inside. Look first within yourself. Are you being just to Allah and His Prophet? Are you being just? Are you following a shaykh? Are you being just to your shaykh? Are you being just to each other? Are you being just to your family, to your time, to your property? Are you being just? You fix that first. Now that we're trying to hold on very strictly and properly, that don't compromise so much. When you move outside, when you go outside, there is injustice everywhere. Do we have the permission to change anything? No. Do we have the power to change anything? No. Can we even speak about it? So many times we cannot speak about it. And what is the advice? Pull back and leave off. What is the attitude of a believer in the world? In the Akhir Zaman? Not a lion. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the believer in the Akhir Zaman will be like a snake. The time when we were lions was past. Inshallah, the time will come soon. But you have to train to be a lion, not outside, inside. The snake, why? Everybody hates, everybody wants to kill you. But the snake is one of the most nervous animals that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ever created. The snake never wants to show itself. It's always hiding, going around, and when there's no one there, he's going. When there's somebody there, he stops, hiding, quickly going back to the hole. So now we're entering not into knowledge, not ilm. We're entering into irshad, guidance. Because ilm, everybody has a thing that they have. But if there is no irshad, there is no guidance to knowledge, that knowledge becomes curse to you. It becomes a curse. How are you going to get guidance? Have a guide. That guide, where he gets his guidance from? From his guide. That guide from his guide, that guide from his guide. And the training that they go through is not that simple. And they will only tell us what it is that is necessary for us. Something that is not necessary, they're not going to. Something that is necessary for us to live our lives, to survive, and to keep our faith intact. To keep our shahadat intact. You understand? Because the one who doesn't care with the oppression is wrong. He's going to get punished. And the one who cares too much but doesn't know what to do with it will also be punished. Correct? He cares so much, he doesn't know what to do. He gets so angry, then he decides to do something violent and stupid. Is also wrong. So these are very dangerous times that we are moving. It's like you're walking outside. It looks very nice, but there are explosives buried underground, mines buried underground. You cannot see, you need a guide. And the guide, say, moving slowly, poking here, poking, move here, move here. No, it's fine. Everything where is green, I'm just going to, but you don't know what is there. You take the wrong step, it will blow up in your face. Tariqat is to understand. Tariqat is not giving you those explosives to burn, to blow you up. Tariqat is showing the explosives have always been there. Now, you must be aware. What is it that is going to blow us up? So many people, it is their ego, their arrogance are going to blow up. Their stubbornness will blow them up. Their anger is going to blow them up. Without knowing it, they say, I didn't think I was. But it is. The sooner you understand that, sooner you change, the better. Otherwise, you're going to keep blowing yourself up. You're going to keep losing. And so, we are living in a time where the Prophet says, pull back, because if you are in front, and if you are leading, and if you're a believer, you must put Allah and His Prophet first. In these days, you cannot be both. Because if you're in front, you will have to make compromises, because Islam is not ruling. You're not going to put Allah and His Prophet first. Then you understand that, oh, then I have to play a game. It's not about being good or changing lives, it's about playing the game, who is better at that game. And this, the Prophet says, don't be busy with this. Even if you think you're going to play the game and you're going to win and you're going to change people, they will change you before you think that you can change them. And if you change something, it's going to get worse. It says, be simple, pull yourself back, keep your faith simple, keep your possessions simple, keep your desires simple, keep your understanding simple and clean and pure. What is it that we have to be very detailed about? Our intentions, our actions. Be very detailed. Look and look and look and look again. What do we have to be very careful about? What we say, what is in our hearts, where the words are going to reach to, how we think about others. Shaykh has just given us another warning today. Stop fighting with each other. Don't fight with each other. Love each other. Find a way to make a compromise. Find a way. Don't let your emotions now to get you so excited that you think that you are 100% wrong, 100% right, or nobody thinks they're wrong. Put that aside. This is very difficult to do in these days, because everywhere else is saying, run with your desire, run with your emotions. Who cares what people think? Don't you know if you run these days, you will win? If you don't run, you will lose. So, alhamdulillah, we are here so that we don't interfere into things that are happening. You understand? And alhamdulillah, we're living in a country that no one has the right to interfere with us either. What is important that we're doing? It is also our Shaykh saying, the Prophet is saying, you must obey the laws of the country, wherever that you are. Now we're living here, we must obey. You like it or you don't like it, you must obey. You like it or you don't like it. You don't like to pay taxes, nobody likes, but you must obey. But what is given, our rights to live and to believe, this is what we're going to continue doing. That way you will be able to find the proper attitude to be able to carry your faith. Don't you know, Prophet saying, you cannot even encourage what is right and deny what is wrong these days. You cannot. But who can you do it with? Those ones who are going to listen to you? Do it. That's why we are here. That's why we're not having hundreds, thousands of people here, just a few. Because, as Hazrat Omar said, make us to be from the very few. May Allah forgive me, inshallah. May Allah make our Shaykh to rise higher and higher. And for him to take the secret of Hazrat Omar and to bring it back down into this world, and to bring justice into this world, and to make us one of those ones who are just, and to have justice on top of our heads, and not for us to be weak, inshallah. Wa min Allah tawfiq al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum.